Welcome to Carolina Coffee Talk, where we drink the coffee and spill the tea from the greatest town on earth, Wake Forest, North Carolina, and around the world.
Carolina Coffee Talk is brought to you by Kaleidoscope Realty, providing one-on-one home buying help from start to finish. If you'd like to be a sponsor, shoot us an email at info@carolinacoffeetalk.com or like us on Instagram or Facebook.
I'm Liz.
And I'm Jonathan.
Jonathan, you interrupted me. How dare you?
We're out of practice.
I go first, age before beauty or something. Okay, Jonathan, today is August 21st, 2020. I was explaining to a mutual friend of ours, Carol, the other day, yesterday, in fact, about our podcast. And Carol is very funny. She is, has grown children and she likes podcasts. And I was telling her what it was. I said, the craziest thing about our podcast is when we started, it was right before COVID started to hit. And I said, the weirdest thing that happened that made me realize something bad is happening was we were at, and I want to ask you this question too, before we get started with the podcast today, really. We were at Chipotle with the kids, and our son Trey, who is 13, was with one of his friends, and they wanted to go over to Chick-fil-A to get something. This was in probably April, maybe March. Mm-hmm. So they walk over to Chick-fil-A across the parking lot, and they come back with the food. And we're like, why didn't you guys eat there? And they said, Chick-fil-A is closed. We said, what do you mean Chick-fil-A is closed? And we're like, it's not Sunday. Like, you got the food. They're like, no, the dining room is closed. They only have drive-through open. And we were like, what? Why? And they said there was a sign on the door that said, due to COVID-19, our dining room is closed until further notice. And that was the moment I realized something's up.
Stuff's going down.
What was the moment you realized something was up? Do you remember?
Well, I think I've been doing a lot of like conversations with everybody, like with you and some of my other friends, and just talking about it. And I think when New York went under lockdown in California, I was like, oh my God, here we go. I was like, they're going to do it to us all. Like, there's just no way that we can continue. Like, how do you control? And if the biggest cities in our country are shutting down, like little Raleigh, North Carolina for sure is going to shut down.
Well, and in retrospect, the Northeast shut down before we did.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and I think if you look like retrospect, I think if you think about that, they shut down before us because they got the heat of it because there are so many people there. But what's interesting is think about what happened. They shut down New York City, which was infected. And guess where majority of New York people went?
Myrtle Beach.
Other places in the country. So it's like, great, you shut down your city, and then we all got the transplants or the people that have been living there that are coming home now to live with their families. So I think it's an interesting, I'm not blaming New York City or people that live in New York. Don't take that, but.
I blame New Yorkers for everything.
But yeah, I think that was my first like, oh my God, this is actually getting ready to happen.
Yeah, and I think it's, now we talk about this all the time. Everyone's over it, but now it's kind of like, okay, let's get things back to normal. And I'm
over it all, like that, yeah. And the politics around it. Like, I'm just over it. I'm ready for like you said, to get back to normal. Yeah, for sure.
And I don't want to talk about COVID much today because it's just enough, right? Everyone's talked about it enough ad nauseum. I was thinking the other day too, are you caught up on Below Deck Med?
I am not, but I've been following a lot of social media, and I know about Hannah.
Let me talk about this a little bit, if I may.
Yeah, go for it.
For those of you that don't watch this show, Below Deck is a show about super yachts. Very, very fancy rich people charter these massive yachts, and it's about what happens below deck. The crew, everybody that is on the show. Right. So Bravo follows this crew for a charter season. People charter the yacht for 3 to 4 days at a time. They pay $100,000 for 3 days. It's stupid money. I don't get it. Whatever.
Right.
We have had several Below Deck cast members on our show in the past. We really like Captain Sandy, who was one of the, go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish what
Yeah,
you're saying.
you agree, right?
Yo, I love Captain Sandy. Yeah.
Yeah. She is one of the main captains on the show, and she's one of the only female captains in the industry.
Correct.
Were you going to say something? You look very like, I got to say something.
I am, because I really want to have Captain Sandy on after
Yes.
all this and all the stuff that's on social media.
Right. So
Because
let me fill
Captain,
you in on
yeah,
what's happened. Okay.
yeah,
So on Below Deck, the last episode on Monday night, one of their head interior staff members, she's what's her title? It's Hannah's title, the
Chief Stew.
chief stewardess, was found to have a CBD oil pen or a weed pen and Valium in her room, which she probably has a prescription for. However, they are not allowed to drink on charter because of a safety issue, and they're not allowed to take any prescription medication unless it's locked in a certain area and everybody has everything they're supposed to have and know that it's legal and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So Captain Sandy didn't know that she had all this stuff. She ends up getting fired. But there's a whole rigmarole online about why she didn't deserve to be fired, this, that, and the other. And if there's ever a social media platform to me that is filled with trolls, it is Twitter. Twitter is ridiculous. And I'm on Twitter. Sometimes I don't know why, but people just wait to pounce on each other on Twitter. It's awful because it's relatively nameless and faceless. People want to get as many likes and replies and retweets as they can, so they just go for the jugular. And people say the nastiest things about Hannah or about Captain Sandy or about Malia, who reported the drugs, or whomever.
Yeah.
But of course, I would love to have her back on the show. We love her. But her basic defense, Captain Sandy's, was, listen, it's a safety issue. She cannot have any kind of drugs on board. Even if it's Benadryl over the counter, they have to lock that up into some kind of infirmary safe, right?
Well, so having had my Coast Guard license, when you are
Yes, you could
captain
know.
of the boat, you have to take full control. So Captain Sandy is law, order, and judge on the boat. That's why they can kick guests off that have illegal drugs. That's why they are truly, like, it's almost like your own little city when you're in a super yacht like that. I mean, truly, if someone were to murder someone, like, you pretty much everything happens, and you are the point person to say this is what happened to authorities.
And
so,
Captain Sandy said that they found a joint on a charter that a guest brought, and they had to turn the boat around.
yeah. Well,
So
if
it's that
you've
specific.
have you ever seen Below Deck, just the original Below Deck?
Oh yeah.
The very first episode of that show, which is amazing, because I'm sitting there thinking, you are kicking off a series and this is the first episode of your show. A group of guests, they were chartering the boat to go to some photo shoot that they had to be at on some island. The very first day, they found cocaine all over the boat, and they turned the boat around. Literally, they had left the dock and came back and kicked everybody off the boat, and that was the end of the very first season of the whole show.
Right.
And it's a wild thing. But I did see some things about this whole Valium thing, but I don't think it's the Valium that was really the issue. I think it's the CBD, whatever you want to call it, pen that she had. I mean, you can't have that. And
But think about it this way too, like if I decide if she's, working on a boat and she takes Valium during the day, that's a safety issue too. Like, somebody has to monitor when she's taking it. If it's only to sleep, make sure she's taking it only to sleep. She can't just have it in her cabin for whatever.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think back to like my days at resident camp. I mean, we had staff that would get kicked out of camp. Like, we had a kid who went through a staff member's locker.
Yeah.
And he had filled his Valium one day off and got in late and couldn't turn it in. And that night, a kid went into his locker and took a bunch of pills. And
that's a good point. That's a good point.
It's again, you don't know it. Who really, the sad thing is, you don't know what guests are coming on the boat. You don't know who's crazy, who's doing what nowadays, especially.
Yeah.
So you've got to really protect yourself on all accounts.
So, but I say that about Twitter too, because I would post like, I'm on, we're on Team Sandy about this, and people just jumped on our Twitter, which is at Go Change Move. If anybody wants to know what my Twitter handle is, Go Change Move. People were like, how dare you support Captain Sandy? She's so mature, and just go nasty. Like, if I ever reach that level of notoriety or celebrity where people just daily are just shooting me down, I couldn't handle it. I'm a people pleaser. I can't handle it now. And I'm like this tiny fish in a tiny pond. You know what I mean?
Well, but I think maybe I'm speaking for Captain Sandy, but I think just based off of our interview with her, she's probably like, whatever, I don't really
Yeah,
care.
she's used to it. She's smarter than I am for sure. And she's more mature about it too. She
Yeah.
doesn't go back on people, but you wish you could, but you just can't.
Well, I read some article today, I guess Tom, Malia's boyfriend, is now saying he wish he'd never joined Charter because of just, I guess, stuff that's happened.
Well, so he joins the charter season. That very next day, Hannah leaves.
Yeah.
But I think she's terrible as a person. Like, she's all season. I'm like, she's so mean.
Well, I mean, I think she was part of the reason why Kiko
Yeah, she kind of
went
set
on.
him up.
Yeah, so. But actually, funny story, her and Anastasia now have a business together. So I'd love to try and get them both on here because I want to hear about their business, which is
What kind of business?
they're helping people get into the charter business. They have
Oh,
like a
okay.
recruiting type thing. It'd be interesting to hear about.
Well, now that I just said I don't like Hannah, I don't think she's going to come on the podcast, but
Well,
I'll let you interview that part of her if you want. Whatever. So speaking of celebrity guests, I use that term a little bit loosely, but we have Heather Thomas, or no, sorry, wow. Heather Thompson. It's hard because there's no P in her last name. It's Thomson, Heather Thompson, of Real Housewives of New York and of Yummy Tummy fame, which is similar to Spanx. She's a fashionista. She's worked with Puff Daddy, Beyonce, Jennifer Lopez. She has a superfoods line out now. She's very much in health and wellness. She's a speaker. She's going to be on her podcast.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
I sent you the email that I got from her team about what dates to do it.
Again, another person who just has such a schedule.
I've been trying to talk with this girl. She's very nice. We've been talking since May. And I'm like, listen, your girl's not busy during COVID all summer long, 4 months later. But here we are. So it's finally going to work out.
And that's a good point. We also have talked with Monique's, and Monique's people weren't going to do anything until the season started.
And the season has started.
The season has started, so I'll reach back out to them too.
You should, because Monique was also in the news about something.
Yeah, she's been kind of controversial recently.
That one of the other women on the show claimed that Monique was having an affair with her trainer at the gym. Which I feel like is a story that we all hear from the Real Housewives of whatever city they're in. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Lisa Vanderpump, off Vanderpump Rules, not the housewife, but she was a housewife.
Yeah.
With the guy that worked for her, they were talking about, everybody was questioning, oh, Lisa loves him.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Lisa's on Beverly Hills, have you seen Lisa Rinna's dancing videos on Instagram?
Okay, so are you caught up on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills?
No, it kind of goes in a circular fashion right now. I'm still caught up on what's happening with Denise Richards and her husband and how crazy that is.
Okay, well, yeah. I totally think that's true. I think Denise Richards is trying to play cover, and I'm like, because she wants to look good for her kids. I'm like, your kid's father is Charlie Sheen.
Of course it's true.
It can't get any worse.
Of course it's true.
Mm-hmm. You hooking up with a girl is the least of their worries.
Well, so here's the rumor for those of you that don't watch Housewives, and we'll keep it PG.
Yeah.
Brandi Glanville, who was on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills for a long time, which I love, but she is fiery as all get out. She claims she was in a relationship with Denise Richards while Denise Richards was married. So now Denise Richards is denying it, and it's a whole thing. However, Denise Richards was also in the movie Wild Things. If you've seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about. So there's not much of a departure.
She also talked about other things with her husband and massages and different things like that in previous seasons of Desperate Housewives.
They are Desperate Housewives. That's true. You're not wrong about that. COVID, but they're all these ladies that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, mostly 40s and 50s, who have aged out of whatever they were early in life, ex models, ex singers,
I
ex
would disagree
dancers.
with that. I think Erica Jane has got
Oh my God, I love her.
right. Yeah, I think Pretty Hot Mess is a good. She's got a good thing going,
Yeah,
and
she's
I
really,
honestly think she's one of the realest.
she is, and I think that she.
And I also think Sutton is very real. I don't think Sutton really puts up with like all the Hollywood glamour. I mean, I think
Sutton
Sutton
is like Sutton should be on Real Housewives of Hilton Head or something. She's
yes,
very South Carolina.
or Raleigh. She is
Yeah.
very South Carolina. She actually was in South Carolina a couple weeks ago.
Was she
But
really?
yeah, but yeah,
You know who should be on Real Housewives?
who?
Dolores.
Dolores. No, she's too sweet to be on
No,
that.
she'd be like the voice of reason. Like they'd come over and she'd be like, "Y'all need to get along
Bless your heart,
and
dear.
let's chat it out a little bit and talk it out and talk out your feelings. And let's make
Oh,
some reads while we're at it."
that's a shout out to Southern Suds, by the way.
Love Southern Suds.
I want to give a shout out to something that I did, if that's okay. It's a little subject change, but
Is it really a shout out or are you just talking about it? Because that's
yeah,
different things.
yeah, I'm going to
Okay.
give the chamber a shout out, actually.
Oh, the chamber. Let's
yeah.
do it.
Dear Liz works at the chamber.
Whoop, whoop.
If you are a small business in Wake Forest, it is a great place to meet people and talk with people. Last night we did a happy hour, and it was great. I met some new people that I have not met before, and was able to have some conversations and followed up this morning. And I think it's a great opportunity, especially in COVID land, to meet people and have an opportunity just to get in front of faces. I know being a realtor, that's important. And so, and it's important for every business. So shout out to the chamber. It's a great place to meet other people in the community and make business happen.
It is. Thank you for saying that. And it's funny too, because I started here in January, late January. So the month before, we kind of, everything shut down. And I'm very thankful for the switchover. It's just things have totally changed since I started working here.
Right.
But one thing that's cool, and I want to talk about this next too, is signs of life, right? Things that we've seen around that we think are, hopeful about things getting back to normal. The chamber has existed forever, years and years and years and years, to be event driven, socially driven, connection driven. Can't have events, can't have socials, struggling with connection. We are doing a golf tournament in October, first week of October, which will be so fun. But even that,
Doc will be there.
who will? Carolina Coffee Talk will be there. That's true. We'll be driving the beverage cart around.
That's right. Get your beer.
That's right. But seeing signs of life to me is very exciting. Another sign of life is, as most of you know, gyms for the most part have been shut down. The YMCA has been shut down. They opened their indoor and outdoor pool probably in June. Do you remember?
What, like 30% capacity or something?
Yeah. But then they started doing this work outside thing that was a few weeks ago, where they pull out, they got these two like pods, which are those packable cubes you can get if you're moving. And they pull everything out of the pods every morning at 5:30 in the morning to have outdoor weightlifting space. So they have a squat rack, they have bench presses, they have the box jumps, they have all that stuff out, free weights. It's been really, really great. But when I go in the morning, today was busy because there was 3 other people there. There's nobody ever there.
But it's funny. I actually got a call from a person I worked with in the Tampa Y and said, "Hey, have you heard from anybody at the Y?" And my majority of the people that I worked with are no longer at the Y in Tampa just because it's a pretty hostile work environment.
Tell me how I really feel.
But I said, "No, why? What's going on?" And he said, "Oh, they're struggling." I was like, "Well, they've been struggling for years pre-COVID, so that doesn't really matter."
Right.
He said to me, and I quote, "They are at 17% of their original membership base."
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, like in this, they have like 20 branches. I mean, they're a pretty big organization. I'm thinking, but I hear like what you're saying of like signs of life, but like I would be a little weary, to be honest. Like as much as I'm ready to like be able to go to a gym and like do a cycle class or do something like that, I think there's just still that lingering.
Well, and there will be. So here's the thing. So no matter what workout facility you're a member of, if you are a member of one, I'm thinking specifically about the new Planet Fitness opening up on one, right? It's massive. It's going to be beautiful. You look at pictures of it, there's treadmills next to each other, right? They're going to have to take out probably 50% of those treadmills at least.
Or they block them
6
off
feet
every
apart
other
or
one.
more. Every gym will have to do that. So if you've been establishing your overhead and your salaries for staff on your current capacity of membership, that's completely gone.
Well, but I also think too, like look at Planet Fitness. I mean, they get away with a $10 a month membership,
right?
Because they don't have that much staff.
Correct.
Like they have staff, they don't have much, but the Y has a ton of staff. And yeah. I'm not saying like that's a bad thing. I mean, they do a lot, but for yeah, I mean, I think that's easier. I think it's easier for a Planet Fitness, which is really more of a shell of a gym, than really the Y. Like the Y to me is not really a gym.
Most businesses will have to figure out how they operate going back, right?
Yeah.
So we've been doing, X, Y, and Z things in our mission. Maybe now we only do the Y things. Like we don't do X and Z anymore because we don't have the staff to do it or the capacity.
Right.
But it's, it makes your brain hurt sometimes. I mean, I got a bunch of stuff done this week for work. My brain feels a little bit like oatmeal because I'm kind of like thinking constantly about how to solve these huge world issues that I don't know how to solve.
Right. Well, and I think too, you're trying to survive. You're trying to figure out what's next. Like, this shoe is dropped. What's the next one? And so, yes, there's signs of life, but it's not back to where it was by any stretch of the imagination.
No, and I think, in colleges, kids are going home. I mean, kids, they did too much too soon.
I'll tell you, I can't imagine being a college student right now.
No, the thing with college kids, and I don't blame them, they want to be social and be together. So that's why there's spikes, but there's going to be spikes no matter what.
Yeah.
I think. So you went to the beach last weekend.
I did.
Right. And which beach did you go to?
Oh, I've got a good story for you. This is good.
Oh, good. I love a good story.
Yes. So I went up to Southern Shores. My brother Joe and his family came down to Southern Shores, which is between Duck and Kitty Hawk.
Outer Banks.
Outer Banks.
Got it. Let
me tell you, I am more resilient in my disdain, if you will, for the Outer Banks.
Oh, go on.
So anyway, I mean, and we had a great time. I got to hang out with my niece and my nephew. I taught my niece about waves and how to swim in waves, and that was a lot of fun, just spending some time with her and my nephew, and got to hang out with them. And it was my sister-in-law's birthday, so we celebrated that. So it was a good time overall. But like, I think the first day, so Saturday, I go out on the beach with my brother, his family, and we're all sitting out on the beach. Everything's great. Everybody goes in for lunch. So we go in for lunch, and then I go back out. I'm the only one that goes back out. So I go out and I sit down by myself, equally distanced away from people. And it's pretty windy out there, right? So I sit down and I have my little speaker playing oldies, nothing crazy. And this old leathery man has the audacity to walk over to me and say, "Is that a radio that you're playing?" And I said, "No." I said, "That's my speaker." And he said, "Oh, well, I'd prefer not to listen to it. Do you have headphones or something?" And I thought, are you kidding me? Like,
I am on his side. I agree with him.
No, ma'am. You would not have been able to hear my speaker if you were where he was sitting. Honest to God.
Okay, can I say something?
And it was not loud. Like, I could barely even hear the song that was playing.
Okay, can I say something though?
Yes.
Okay.
But
There have been several times. There's been several times in my life lately where I have been around that and it drives me up a wall because I don't want to hear your music. Like, you might love Jimmy Buffett. I might hate it.
That's fine. If he could have told me what song was playing, I would have turned it off. And I did. I mean, I turned it down because I was like, well, I'm only one out here, so I don't really care.
Your defense is that there's no way he could have heard what was going on.
There's no way. Between the sounds of the waves, and the wind, there's absolutely no waves. There's no way that he could hear what I was playing.
We
My
went
sister-in-law
to,
was sitting closer to me and she couldn't even hear the song. So like there's no way that he 8 feet away from me could have heard what song was playing.
okay, so can I give you 2 examples?
Yes.
And you'll feel my pain a little bit.
No.
You will, watch. So we went to like Hanging Rock, Blowing Rock, Stone Mountain, something like that. Hiked up there, some beautiful mountain. Get to the top. There's a ton of people up there, beautiful. And I hear name a really aggressive rap song that I can actually sing. The lyrics aren't terrible.
Country grammar.
Yeah. Go down, down, baby. You're straight in the range of a boom, boom, baby. Rock, rock, ready, let it go. Shimmy, shimmy, go, what? Shimmy, shimmy now. Light up, take butt, fast to me now. And I was like, come on. And it was this dumb blonde girl with these crazy nails wearing a simply Southern t-shirt, you know what I mean? And like jean shorts with this huge speaker on her backpack. And I'm like, I'm trying to enjoy nature and you're playing Nelly. Like it was painful.
Okay, fair. But you're in a very different scene than what I was at. But go ahead.
Let me do one more, please.
Yep.
We were in Mexico and there's little speakers everywhere. And there was this kid who's probably 19 years old walking around holding a speaker, singing along to some stupid rap song. I don't know what it was. Like all around, so loud. Nobody wants to hear that. I don't want to hear your music. Even if it's like wasted in away again in Margaritaville. I don't want to hear it. I don't. I want to do a crossword puzzle and be an old lady. Shush. That's it, Jonathan.
Go to Florida and live at the Villages then.
Okay. I've been there actually. So thank you very much.
No, that's fair. Okay, so first off, in the mountains, on a hike, being at the top,
Nature.
get it. Going to the beach, majority of people listen to music at the beach.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that's a normal thing. One. Two, it wasn't like I was playing Slim Shady. I was playing like calm, soothing music, really. I was playing Dave Matthews Band.
Make sure you sing a little bit of Slim Shady so we all know what you're talking about.
I don't know that song anyway, so.
For all of our listeners, you don't know Slim Shady?
No, sorry.
I'm Slim Shady. It's I'm the real Slim Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitate. So both the real
anyway,
Slim Shady, please stand up. Please stand up.
Stand up.
Please stand up. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Nice beatbox for our listeners.
I'm really good at it.
But anyway, so that just kind of put a sour taste in my mouth. I turned it off because I'm like, I don't have time for this. But I thought to myself, so anyway, so then the next day I go out and I walk far away from him because I'm like, I'm going to listen to music, but I'm going to respect the fact that he didn't want to hear it.
Oh, you saw him again?
Oh, yeah, he was out there every day.
Got it.
So I walked all the way, like far away from him, sit down, put my music on low. Literally, it's under my seat next to the left of me, which is away further from him than the farthest place I could put the speaker. Mind you, he's drinking out of a glass bottle on the beach, which is illegal in North Carolina. Thank you very much.
So is listening to music out loud.
Not true.
Oh.
Then he goes like this.
Jonathan's putting his finger in his ear.
He plugs his ear. And
Jonathan's
I'm like,
plugging his ear.
you are an overdramatic old man who has nothing better to do than to sit on the beach and plug your ear.
Let me
like,
tell you what. That's a
go
good life.
somewhere else.
That sounds good to me. I like him. He's my kind of guy.
Good. You all can be best friends and I'll never see you again.
Jonathan, let me have a life where I have nothing better to do than to plug my ear at the beach and look leathery. Give me that life. I'll take a glass bottle of that beach all day.
Pay the fine too.
I will eat that glass bottle.
Well, it's funny. I told my brother that and he was like, oh, well, let him bring a glass bottle out there next time and I'll go say something. I'm like, we don't need to get into a fight with this man. We're just going to move on.
He's leathery, so
anyway,
you're here every day.
I have determined that the Outer Banks is not my space. It's also very touristy. And like I said earlier, wings are everywhere. I mean, there's go-kart place. We did go go-karting and it was a lot of fun. I don't usually like to go-kart.
See?
But we go-karted with my niece and my nephew and it was a lot of fun. So I will say that was fun.
You did a few touristy things. That's good.
Yep. So, but overall, it was pretty great.
Have you been to Gatlinburg?
No.
That's your people. You got to go there.
My people.
It is. It's all your Make America Great Again people. It is. I know you love it. It was actually really fun. It's like very touristy, but like unapologetic about it.
Really?
It's like the Myrtle Beach of the mountains. It's really fun.
Ew, no, I'm out.
No. It's
I don't
beautiful
like
though.
Myrtle Beach is dirty Myrtle.
It is, but this is like not like the Redneck Riviera, but more of like you can still do go-karting and all that stuff. And they have these cool things called alpine coasters.
I don't want to go kart on vacation.
You just did it.
Because I was with my niece and my nephew.
Keep my name out your mouth. Do you know what an alpine coaster is?
I have seen them.
They're really fun. I thought I'd be terrified, but I loved them. They're like little singular roller coasters, and you sit in them and you can control the speed. It's really nice. You would like it. It's not that scary.
Okay.
I got the dog here. What? So we're going to lunch today, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. I can't wait.
So exciting.
Another thing is that I'm sponsoring the Raleigh Strong today.
Oh yeah, John's wearing a shirt that says Raleigh Strong. What is up with that?
It was something that they did for COVID relief for the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
So buy the t-shirt. The t-shirt has a whole bunch of restaurants on the back.
Oh, cool.
And all the proceeds went to help the restaurant workers who were displaced because of COVID.
What's one of the restaurants on the back that I would know?
Probably Pool.
Oh, Pool's Diner, yeah.
Pool's Diner.
Is Fiction Kitchen on there?
I'm sure.
Oh, Chicken and Waffles, I bet Beasley's is on there, huh?
I think Angus Barn's on there too.
Angus Barn. I'm not a fan of Angus Barn. Let me tell you why. Their food's
You don't like music on the beach.
Can I please?
You don't like Angus
Can
Barn.
I please?
I don't think we're friends anymore.
Guess what? You want to talk about things that you don't like? We can do that if you want. I don't think you want that kind of podcast. Things that you don't like outweigh the things I don't like. Okay. Angus Barn, really good food, great atmosphere. However, they will let somebody roll up in there wearing an Adidas tracksuit and like slides. They don't have a dress code.
That sounds like your people.
It's not at all. That's my people if you're on a photo shoot for Christmas, but not if you're going to a fancy dinner.
Yes.
If you're going to a fancy dinner, I don't want to see anybody's toes.
True.
I don't want to see your toes. I don't want to see my own toes. I want to wear closed-toed shoes. I don't want to see your biddies. I don't want to see your bottoms. I want everything to be covered that when you sit down and I sit down after you, I'm not touching anything you were touching.
Fair.
Thank you. But I think the food's really good. Okay, you want to talk about Big Brother too?
Yeah.
Big Brother. You're not caught up.
I'm not.
Okay, it's really good this season.
Last night, right?
It was on last night. There's eviction, yeah, but I'm not caught up yet either. I'm only on the veto meeting. So I'm on Tuesday night.
First go round?
No, Jonathan. Wednesday night's episode. I got to watch Wednesday and Thursday night's episode.
Gotcha. I need to watch Sunday.
How can we get Julie Chen on the show?
We reached out to her, and our dear friend Tyler has offered to pay for a week's worth of cast food.
Oh, Tyler needs to be on the show so we can talk Big Brother.
Yes.
So we can do a Big Brother specific episode next week, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because there's a lot of things. Monday?
Right after Sunday. Yeah, right after the Sunday episode.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. All right, I'll get in touch with him on that. Maybe we can do it Monday night when we're all together because he's got job stuff.
Or we could do it Sunday night right after the episode or during the episode.
Oh, that's a good idea too. I like everything you're saying. But I do love Big Brother. It's really helped me out for my reality shows that I've been missing because of what's happening in the world. You can't watch certain things. So
a little glimmer of normalcy.
It's a sign of life.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be okay. I mean, we just are slowly getting back to normal. I watch that little coronavirus curve on WRAL every day. Every day.
Well, I was reading that it went way down at the beach. We only had like 500 cases in the hospital, and then it like went back up again.
Yeah, of course. Because sometimes there's a delay in reporting and stuff. Yeah. Whatever, right?
Together, people.
So you are about to, we're going to sign off in a second, then you're going to hightail it over here so we can go to lunch, right?
I know. I cannot wait. It's going to be great.
Okay, I'm excited.
To our favorite place.
Over the falls.
Over the falls. And I guarantee you our dear friend Tony will be there.
She will be there. I can't wait to see her.
Oh, it's been a while, I feel.
It has been. When was the last time you were there?
Ooh, a few weeks ago.
They just got an award for best wings in the Triangle, I believe.
That's amazing. They do have really good wings.
That's what I'm going to get for lunch, I think.
And they have phenomenal chicken tenders.
Oh my gosh, all their chicken's so good. You like it because the breading is very specific for you, right?
Gluten-free.
Gluten-free. Thank you very much.
Gluten-free.
All right, Jonathan. Well, listen. So what we're going to do is nail down the date for Heather Thompson.
Yep.
And then we're going to work on Monique. And we're going to work on a few others.
And we'll work on Tyler for Sunday.
And maybe Captain Sandy again.
Yeah, I think we need to. I'll text Captain.
Text her. We have a phone number. Just text her.
Phone number. Hey, we'd love to. Well, the other fun thing about Captain Sandy, real quick, is the fact that she's opening a restaurant in Jacksonville, Florida.
That we're going to go to.
And we're going to go to it. And I think we should go there when she's there, and we could do a live in person.
That'd be crazy.
And maybe we can meet Leah,
her partner,
who has a phenomenal singing voice, by the way.
They're not married yet, are they?
No.
Okay. They should.
But she did some charity, or I think people donated to something, and she sang a song, or she was raising awareness for something. I don't know what it was, but she started singing. I was like, that was an unsuspecting voice, and you were very good.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like when people sing and it doesn't sound like their talking voice. It's totally different.
Yeah, it was very different.
Or when British people sing and they sound American.
Yeah, like Adele.
Yeah, you're like, wait a minute. Adele's like, let me play for you my new song. She's like, hello, it's me. I'm like, that's not you. You're British, aren't you? Adele's voice is unbelievably good.
I think Adele had surgery.
No, she did not.
How did she lose all of her weight?
I thought she just like worked out and ate right. I agree. I think she had surgery too. We'll never admit it.
Yeah, I'm gonna call Blarney.
There's no shame in surgery.
Because I want, if that's the case, I want the secret to what she did for 3 months.
No. 3 months?
Yeah, that's how long it took her.
Then she had surgery.
Yeah, there's no way.
There's no way. She like lost a person.
Literally. She looks great.
She looks amazing. She looks like she looked after surgery though, not after just watching your lettuce intake.
Correct. Yeah. No.
Skeptical. Red flag.
And Rebel Wilson was on, do you know her?
Yeah, she looks good too.
So funny. Well, she was on
come on, you got it. $1 Million Listing?
Yeah.
Looking for a house?
In New York City, yeah.
Who's her realtor?
Frederick.
Oh, I love Frederick. We love him so much.
Yes. So, all right. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Everybody, I hope everybody's had a great week. Happy Friday. Friday.
Yep. We love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.